We ain't got time for academic. We ain't got time for academic, man.
Yeah, we ain't got time. All right, cool.
It's not that deep.
Well, it is, but
We could touch on it.
What he said wasn't even all that wrong to me. He shouldn't have used the word dusty, but I think what's getting lost is like, it's just more perpetuating this disconnection between the old generation and the new generation, man. Old and young, that's all it is.
That the old also perpetuate.
Yeah, everybody's like guilty. Do you know what I mean? The youngers don't necessarily respect the OGs, but then the OGs didn't necessarily have that olive branch out to like bring the young Gs through. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's what Akademiks was referring to. He shouldn't have called them dusty, but I don't think he was wrong for what he was saying, because the old generation, a lot of the old generation, not all, but a lot of the old generation been hating on the young generation, man.
Plus, a lot of them are, well, not a lot of them, but a few of them are struggling. This Marquis died basically like,
Unfortunately,
badly.
Yeah.
Like, he was in dire straits. I mean, there's a lot of them who have been in that position. And plus, a lot of people don't like Ak.
No, it's his wording though, man. It's his wording.
Yeah, it's dusty.
It's
It's
just
the
the
word
word
dusty,
dusty.
bro.
It's the way.
People don't like Ak as well. That adds to it.
No, but I get why. The people he aligns himself with is
No,
just.
but I'm saying is they're extra angry because they don't like Ak.
Yeah, but they're right to not like him. Respectfully.
Fair enough.
Like,
That's not the point.
Like,
That's not the
no,
point.
but I agree with you. Like, it's his voice, his name, and it's the way he's saying it. And it's just, but, hey, man.
He's just saying it in the way that he would for any other. That's just his thing, innit? Like, he's very, like, he uses words like that.
No, but it was just very backhanded the way he said it, man. It's like there was just a lack of, and I'm not even one of them guys like, oh, you need to respect your elders like on another level.
Yeah, but also,
it's just
he said Soulja Boy
No, you
killed-
do have to respect your elders.
no, you do. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think like you know how some elders in hip hop might think, oh, you need to bow to a certain degree when you see
Okay,
me. Like
no.
I
You
done
got
this.
to pay homage.
You got to pay
Mo.
homage, but you know how some people want over the top. So I
Mo.
don't think you need to go over the top when paying
Alright, cool.
homage.
Mo, what's the
But calling them dusty is a bit.
Fine. What's the difference between Akademiks calling the elders dusty and Ice-T saying that Soulja Boy killed hip hop?
Because Ice-T is Ice-T and Akademiks are Akademiks.
What?
As in Ice-T. Ice-T, how can I put it?
No,
Yeah, Ice-T.
What you said is correct. Ice-T-
Ice-T can have an opinion on who's killed hip hop. Academics shouldn't
No,
be
he
calling
cannot.
Ice. Why can't Ice-T have an opinion?
Why can't Akademiks have an opinion?
everyone can have
Everyone
an
can
opinion.
have an opinion.
That's
It's
what I'm
just.
saying.
But who's
They're
one?
both wild
But whose
statements.
one holds more weight?
Not one person is more. None of them, bro. Do you really think people
No, I
believe
think-
that Soulja Boy killed hip hop? Really and truly.
I think some people
really
think.
and truly.
I think some people look at him and go.
You could
he
argue
started
it.
a wave of maybe a
I
little
don't
bit
know
of
for them, man.
a little bit-
Simplicity.
a little bit of
I
unseriousness.
don't know for them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of
Yeah,
unseriousness.
It was
100%.
him though.
No, they just look at him as
That
the
was
key.
post like Laffy Taffy and all that shit.
You're right.
Innit?
Yeah. Some people just.
So
yeah,
it's unfair, man. I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to not have the same energy for someone who's saying that a younger is responsible for killing a whole genre. That's deep, bro.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's wild.
But it's true to some people's opinion.
Nah, I think you're taking it too literally though, man. I feel like because like when Ice-T was saying that, he wasn't referring to like he was more so talking about like the proponents of hip hop being kind of taken away by like the type of hip hop that someone like a Soulja Boy was ushering in. I don't think he was saying that the genre is like done, finished, finito. I won't feel like he wasn't saying it to the point where like, oh shit, no one's gonna be able to make rap no more. He was talking about just the facts that the main key components that makes our ting ain't being upheld no more. And when you got acts like Soulja Boy coming through and making the music they're doing, they are killing the genre. That's what he meant. I don't think he's wrong for saying that. Because he wasn't wrong for saying that. Because look at all the artists that came after as a result of someone like a Soulja Boy. And listen, I'm not even necessarily completely mad at it because it just meant a lot of more black brothers making money as well. But at the same time, like the purist in me 100% agreed with Ice-T and was a bit disgruntled at someone like a Soulja Boy. Because it meant that like it became easier for like bare artists to come through after that and make like substanceless music.
But that's only a view of people that like and respect that era. There is a generation of others that obviously like some of the other stuff that people claim that Soulja Boy is responsible for. And to Akademiks' point about elders being dusty, I mean, yeah, sure, it's derogatory, but what does being dusty really mean?
Broke.
What else did he say?
You one sock on, one one
Highlight.
shoe on,
Crack. Sorry.
hole in your singlet.
Are we taking that a little too literally?
No, dusty is a powerful
Nah,
word.
yeah,
man.
you know what he means by that.
What else did he say though? Yeah, verbatim.
But you know
What else did he say?
You know
though?
what Ice-T means when he says he killed hip hop.
But
right?
what else did?
No, I know. That's how I
was it
interpret
just
it.
was it just the dusty he said? Because I remember I think he
said
was saying
broken dusty.
He was saying broke dusty, and then he was just.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to apply the same logic because I don't think it's fair for us to be able to excuse Ice-T for saying something like that and get onto
But you don't have to excuse Ice-T. You as an individual don't have to excuse Ice-T.
Like, generally, like, it seems as if, maybe I'm getting this wrong, but it seems as if you guys are accepting Ice-T statements a lot more than you would an Akademiks. It seems
because I think Akademiks is saying it from the point of view. First of all, Akademiks is a younger, innit? You don't talk about your olders like that. It don't matter. Ice-T's an OG generation. We're Nigerian, man. The oldest have way more leeway to talk to us in a certain way than we do them. Do you know what I mean? So we got cool. That's another conversation. But it doesn't mean that we can look at it like in another way. Like Ice-T's an OG, so he's entitled to. He's earned enough merit and enough grace to say what he wants to say. Akademiks, on the other hand, he's still a baby in this thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's still coming across very disrespectful and like very disparaging of the people that paved the way.
Cool. But that's embedded in hip hop though.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Hip hop is embedded, the competitive nature of the young taking over and making the pioneers or what the previous generation, making them seem a little bit older, and then it being just a flipping game of disrespect from one generation to the next generation. Cool Mo D versus LL Cool J. Common versus Ice Cube. Can I ask you a question? This is a thing.
But is there a difference? You're naming rappers. Do you think it just comes into it because Akademiks ain't a rapper? And that's why he's getting a lot more slack?
No, because a rapper that was like...
No, as in the names he was naming, it was just more rappers going at each other. Yo, you're young, I'm old, you're young, I'm old. Right. Whereas with him, it's a guy in his mum's basement, respectfully.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But just, do you get what I mean? It's just a different look aesthetically when it's opposed to...
I don't think that matters, man.
I think that matters. I think it's what you said. I think
it's still all hip hop.
But I think it's Akademiks as a person. People see where he's come from, who he aligns himself with. I think it's just a bigger picture of Akademiks. It's not like someone else saying it.
I think it's the word dusty because the message again was lost. The message in what Akademiks was saying was actually lost after the word dusty was used because everything else he said wasn't wrong. The OGs didn't really help usher in the youngers. Do you know what I mean? And that's what he was talking about. He was like, listen, man, like you man should have been taught the youngers how to do it. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of them feel like the olders didn't. And that's why a lot of the youngers feel like the olders were like kind of haters as well. Because like, oh man, like you don't really teach us the thing, yeah? And then now we've come to you and we're making way more money than you man did, yeah? And you man ain't even really like saluting us like that.
And respectfully.
That's the message.
Yeah. And respectfully, the younger generation respecting the older generation, right? Flipping, you're not my dad. You're not my uncle. You're not my family. I don't have to respect you if I don't want to. You know what I mean? Even if you don't necessarily like the term dusty, I don't necessarily think Akademiks should feel entitled to respect the elders just because.
Nah, man, I completely disagree with that, bro.
I think.
Nah, you
if
do, man.
If someone's created that,
come on, man. Nah,
if someone's
created
that,
can't it go both ways?
Well, I'm just saying, if someone's
no, it should go.
It should go both ways, but it's a difference when it's the elder. Because if they created that avenue where you make money off now, you have to be respectful to that.
Feel me?
They've created that avenue of where you want.
But you don't have
Akademiks
to. You're not entitled to.
But Akademiks wouldn't be here. Akademiks wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. But Akademiks wouldn't be here if it weren't for them.
Yeah, I understand that. But
so you have to salute them.
But you're not necessarily.
You have to.
Not necessarily, because people aren't. They're not. So clearly you don't have to.
Does Neymar have to salute R9? No matter what.
He would.
Does R9 have to salute Pele?
He would. But what I'm saying,
does.
But you get what I mean, though?
Yeah.
You have to salute the people that's put on another level for you.
But what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to because some people don't.
Yeah, it's up
but
to
that doesn't.
that's you. That's your free will.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Oh. He's using his free will to say certain things. And again, like to your point, he wasn't being disrespectful until the Dusty comment, right? It was the Dusty comment that then made his whole argument come out of context. It was his free will to say the word Dusty, right? So he doesn't necessarily have to censor himself or anything like that when he's talking about a certain generation if he feels like he doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about free will.
No, you're right.
I don't think the censorship is the issue. It's just the respect. You should respect your elders, man.
But do you think he doesn't respect them?
By that comment, you would think he doesn't.
I don't know, man. I don't think...
Did you guys listen to LL Cool J's response?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I think... But it was a lot of effort. I'll say that much.
I checked out.
Well, what did he say?
I checked out.
I didn't actually listen to it.
He was basically like... He basically said what Mo said. Like, you don't shit on the people who made what you do possible. Which, yeah, fine, valid, absolutely.
Did I think also come back to him as well, innit? Russell Simmons.
I don't know.
Russell Simmons.
MC Lyte did.
Russell Simmons jumped out.
I think, who else did? MC Shan.
Yeah, a lot of
Salute to these guys, by the way.
like not Russell Simmons.
Not Russell Simmons.
But yeah, a lot of people jumped out the window and started, which is like, relax. But I just also think when we talk about the youth today, it's not on the forefathers to pave. The forefathers can't teach the new people game today. That's on the next generation after, if that makes sense. I don't look at the guys in the 80s to teach anything to the people in 2020, 2010s. That's on the 90s, the 2000s rappers. Not the... Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't think that's the point. I think Akademiks was saying that they should have created the infrastructure.
How though? When you just created it?
No, I understand it.
Like
I understand it, but you could have it either way. You could have it to a way where you can criticize them for not being a little bit more forward thinking, but at the same time,
I think that's so unfair.
But at the same time, you can also say, well, it was a new thing. A lot of them were not business savvy. They weren't in any way like educated. So how could they?
I think
it can go both ways.
I think it
that's
also
such a privileged position, though, man. Because you see where rap is now, you're like, oh, you guys should have done this, should have done that. Bro, you guys, we can't. What'd you say?
They low-key should have though.
But how?
In some
But how
capacity,
though?
Bro,
You don't know.
okay,
You
cool,
think they
fine,
knew what?
fine,
You
fine.
think KRS knew what them man were creating?
Bro,
when
Def
and
Jam
it
was made in
today?
'84, bro.
No, I hear you, but it's just, I do think it's unfair, man. To what the money's saying now, you couldn't fathom that in the 80s, bro.
Cool, but
How are you meant to create something that's not getting played? Them man won't even get played on TV, and you now want them to think about bigger projects and bigger stuff. What'd you say?
Run DMC were.
Salute to Run DMC, but you know what I mean. Like there was a battle going on amongst the battle. They had to conquer a lot for them to get accepted. The last thing on their mind is, I want ownership, I want this, I want that.
Cool, but
Their thing is, let's just
fine.
start what we call rap.
Fine. But what do you then say to people like Sylvia Robinson and Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons and all those business savvy people who did have their eye on the ball and did want to create infrastructure?
I'm talking about the rappers, though. I'll be honest with you.
yeah, because
I'm
that's
just talking
who
about
the
rappers.
issue with. It's not really with the executives.
I'm not just talking about the rappers. I'm not talking about Russell Simmons. I'm specifically just talking about rappers. I don't blame the rappers in the 80s for not forward thinking. I just think it's so unfair. How are you meant to forward think to a thing that hasn't even started yet? Do you get what I mean? It's like,
Okay, cool. That's fine. But then once like the infrastructure's become a bit more solid, yeah, when we come through to the 90s and that, what's their excuse? What's the rappers that were like popular in the 90s and made all their bread in the 90s, yeah? What's their excuse for not necessarily passing on game to like the rappers that came in the 2000s?
I think they did.
I don't know if
I
they
think
did,
they did,
bro.
I think they did.
It's been like, this ain't a new thing, you know?
No,
This
it's
ain't a new
ongoing. It's been ongoing.
Yeah,
But
bro.
I
Like,
think-
we've been dealing with this with generations.
But I think
you
they
know what I
did.
mean?
I think the 90s, I think the Jays, the Nas's.
No, I don't think they were doing it in that moment, though. I think,
Not in the
I think
90s.
after the
They've done
fact,
it later
like
on.
all the game that Jay's dropping now, I don't think he was doing that like whilst he was
No,
being,
no,
whilst he was
not.
like competing.
Absolutely not.
Oh, but then there's a difference though. You said why didn't they pass the game down to the later generation? Or you talk about the current generation they were living in. You're not meant to pass it down to the current game. You're trying to be on the top. And it's a dog-eat-dog world. Jay was trying to get the top. I think.
But that's what Akademiks is saying now.
No, Akademiks is saying.
No, that's what he's arguing though. He's arguing that like the ones that come before should always help pave the way for the ones that are coming later.
And did Jay not do that?
Not in the midst of him competing. After he had reached his billionaire status, he started to. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but to me it's
But never did Nas, really.
Nas, who did Nas put on?
Dave East.
AZ.
What, the Bravehearts?
The firm? Well, no.
He
AZ.
didn't put the firm on.
AZ? He put AZ on.
All right.
His security guard on
That's
Uchi
your guy,
Wale.
innit?
Listen, I don't know if he really put AZ on like that. I don't know
See,
if I
see,
let.
we're not doing that.
I don't know if I'm
We're
gonna.
not going- that's
Yeah,
too
he
deep.
put
That's
him on
too
his
deep. That's
first
too deep.
album
That's
and
too
that,
deep.
but
That's too deep.
what's he
Too
really
deep.
done for AZ since?
It's too deep. It's too deep.
Put him on, was it King's Disease 1?
Yeah, me man.
I'm just saying. He was on AZ's first album. I'm just saying, listen.
It's
The point I'm making in it is like this is gonna continue to be an issue in it, where like the older ones that will come in the older generation like are gonna either look down on the hip hop being made by the ones coming after them, and then the youngers are gonna feel like, yo, you man, okay, cool, you lot are not respecting our thing, but at least like still help us do this.
It's always
thing.
going to be like that. And I never thought it's always going to be an old man, young man's game.
But what if the older generation in that moment doesn't really respect the music that you lot are making? Do they still have a responsibility to help give them game, even if they don't respect their team?
Yes,
outside
because-
music, yes.
Yes,
Outside
100%,
music, you've got
100%.
responsibility. But I think they do it. I think the older generation recently, like the last decade, the last 15 years, has been. You saw Jay with Nipsey.
Do you think we do that here? Do you think we have that issue here?
What, in the UK?
Where like the older UK generation of MCs like helping the younger ones come true?
I think we're just having.
Or even bridging that gap
think
between
this-
the youngers and the olders, or the youngers
Skepta
feeling
is.
like the olders ain't really respecting them.
Skepta is.
Skepta's
But,
definitely bridging the gap.
but this is the first generation of the oldest youngest. This is our first generation of it, if that makes sense.
No, it's not.
That's
We had the Rodney P's and that.
I'm
And then we had the So Solids. And
salute
that.
to them. I'm talking about the last decade. I'm not respectful.
I feel like Rodney P's and that, defo were looking at the So Solids and that, and like, I ain't really
Side eye
like
in
that
it.
thing.
Side eye in it.
Defo.
Bro, the garage lot were looking at the grime lot like, bro, what are you doing?
I saw something
100%.
recently.
It's been
That
an issue
Heartless,
too,
I
yeah.
saw something recently on the internet. Heartless and Soul Solid had a clash once,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Heartless killed him.
yeah,
I don't
100%.
know if they killed him.
I supposedly Heartless done the
I'm from
dance.
South London, man. Heartless never
Heartless,
beat So
Gonna
Solid.
do it right.
Never happened.
Original side.
That's a classic.
What
We doing.
did you say?
We doing. That's a classic.
the Heartless vibe.
That's a
Respect Heartless crew, bro.
bro. That's a no-go. What are you
You're
doing?
acting like I'm mocking it.
I mean,
I'm not mocking it.
you sure?
Nah, that man came to my private school.
Oh, okay.
Fam, for some reason, I started watching a video for a Pay As You Go song. I think Champagne Dance.
Bang on. What?
It just made me think about how the videos were back
Yo,
then. Man.
yeah,
But that's a later
highlight.
conversation.
Yeah, highlight.
I think that goes in nicely to Stormzy's thing, though.
Well, one thing I will say is that this whole respect thing, right? I don't know, man. I just feel like
He's overrated.
no. I just feel like in the rap game, cool, we've got the pioneers, we've got the generation that came before. Respect isn't something that should just be ordained. You gotta earn it. How many times have you heard people say you gotta earn respect?
Completely disagree, bro.
But how many times have you heard people say you gotta earn respect?
A lot of times.
You know what I'm saying? So why can't we apply the same logic?
Nah, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Do
though?
we say
why
do,
not?
do we
But
say
why not?
do we say to our uncles and aunties they have to earn
That's
our
different,
respect? Why
different.
is that different, bro?
Because they're family.
Their family.
You're not related.
Wait, can I ask you-
Bro, did we have uncles and aunties that are not our family, bro? And we have to respect them the same.
But that's culture.
That's culture. I'm
culture.
not talking about rap.
That's
I'm
culture.
talking
But
about
okay,
rap,
so
bro.
in black culture, we have a
have to
thing where
respect.
us as youngers respect the elders.
I'll be-
It don't matter
no,
whether it's
I
hold on.
agree
It doesn't
with you, I
matter
agree
whether
with
it's
you,
in
I agree
music,
with you.
whether it's
I
in
agree. I
work,
think
whatever.
clearly- I think clearly it
Us
does.
as a people,
I
we
agree.
come from a people where like we respect the ones that came before us.
you're right,
It's
you're
no different in music.
No, I agree with you.
Clearly it is, bro.
I agree with
Clearly
you.
it is.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying that like if the youngers are feeling like they're being disrespected by the elders, that they can't express that like that issue. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, as them being your elders, I still think there still has to be a certain level of respect. That's just how I feel.
No, and I hear that. But all I'm trying to say is, if, to your point, if they feel like they're not getting the respect, why should they respect them back? That's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
And that's why I'm saying respect isn't ordained, because you got to give out what you want to take. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
I hear you. I hear you.
Yes.
I think you should. I agree with Peter. I do think you should, just to wrap it up, I agree with you. I think you should give respect to your.
Listen,
I
in
think
an
you have to
ideal
give. I
world,
think you have
yes.
to give
In
respect
an
to the
ideal
forefathers
world, yes.
until
but
they lose it. They can lose it.
In an ideal world, yes. But hip hop has clearly created an atmosphere where the youngers don't necessarily feel respected, and therefore they're acting out.
Lads,
I don't blame them.
We got to wrap up, man.
I don't blame them.
No. Don't blame them. But it should start off respectful. And if you lose your respect midway, you lose your respect midway. But it should always start off respectful, man.
I mean, for what it's worth, I feel like the rappers that we enjoy and we're fans of, they definitely have respect.
Yeah.
Maybe the other side,
Yeah.
like the Uzi verse that said, you know, they're not rapping on boom bap or whatever because they're doing something completely different.
But you can see the divide.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
the
like
divide's been there, though.
I don't like them either.
Yeah, but the divide's been there, though.
So I'm all with it. Yeah.
And you don't respect them, do you?
I respect them. It's their art. I'm not here with my to discredit another man's art, even though I think it's shit.
I mean, the old heads do.
Not respectful.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's just not on me. I genuinely have understood now. You know, when we was when we was growing up, and our uncles used to always be like, "Yo, turn that shit off, man. Like, what are you listening to?" When I was growing up, and we are solidified at that age now, where it's like, "Yo, what are you listening to?" We are at that age now where it's like, "Yo, we're never gonna understand what the kids are doing," and the older we get, the more it's gonna be out of touch.
I mean, I don't think understanding what the kids do is that difficult. They're just doing what they want to do.
No, I'm saying the music. It's just not gonna resonate with us as the older we get, and that's just how life goes.
Yeah. But you can understand it. They're
You
doing their
can.
own thing.
No, you can. But
If
it's
it's trash, I won't understand it.
No, but what I'm saying is you can understand the actions and the intent, not the actual
yeah.
result.
But
Okay.
salute to anyway. Salute to all of the rappers. Salute to the elders. Bar Russell Simmons.
You've made it very clear you don't understand a lot of these rappers, so it's cool.
You could go to hell. Well, Russell Simmons.
Oh, okay.